Hey! All right. Just got out of another meeting, so I'm sorry I'm late. Sorry. This stuff happens. This stuff happens in the real deal. So this is one of the skill sets you have to master of who to make upset, because you have more to do than you can do, right? You've got more stuff to anyways, that's the deal. And so I don't even have my intro ready. I usually have that up here on the teleprompter. It's so sorry. We're just going to keep it real today is what we're going to do. So we have an awesome day planned today. Welcome to the Field Service live stream on LinkedIn. My name is Pierre Hulsebus, and I'm your host today. And we're going to be talking about field service and customer service today with two awesome experts on that topic. And so we'll talk about some of that stuff, and then we'll take some questions. If people have questions in the stream, they feel free on both YouTube and on LinkedIn to ask any questions along the way. And we're all about field service and customer service here today. And, the mission at Microsoft, that we have is to empower every person on the planet to do more. And, we can't think of a more appropriate workload than the field service and the service business, because, those folks are out there fixing stuff and getting things up and running and keeping all of this stuff, the lights on in the buildings, and keeping the machines all working. And it's those folks every day that go out and do the work. They need to do that work on time, on schedule, a lot of time on budget, exceeding their customers' expectation. They have a passion for service, and we love them for it. And so we have two folks. I'm going to turn my music down here, my intro music. There we go. And we're going to sit in the cafeteria here. The little cafe here. I have my coffee cam. Let me switch over to that here. Here's the coffee cam. So we're how many? So this is now, if you are on my show, this is the prize. This is the epic prize you get. This is the epic swag. Is I was on with Pierre, and all I got was a crappy mug. And this is the mug. And then it has over here, and then a constant reminder for Trish and Dan here's my little mug on there, to get back to work, slacker. And so that's the fun. So if you're on the podcast, this is what you get. This is what you get. And so I want to introduce my two wonderful friends, both Trish and Dan Cefaratti. How do you say that, Dan?
That's close. I've had a lot of things, but Cefaratti works. I've been called Maserati.
Maserati. See, that's what I would be doing. I would switch it up. I would be definitely doing Dan Maserati. That's
absolutely. Well, I was excited to hear. I mean, this is the first I heard about the mug. I would have tried to been on a show a while back.
Oh, there you go.
Just looking at that, like, seriously, like, I would have said yes ages ago. Like,
yeah, well, there you go. This is waiting for you. Now, the challenge for me, Trish, is to get it over to the UK. So there you go. But and then this will give you an indication of how good the show is going, based on how much coffee is being consumed at the time. So that's the idea there. That's the idea. So while we got you guys here, let's do some introductions here. So first, let's talk to Dan here. Dan, why don't you introduce yourself to the kind folks in our stream today?
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I am Dan Cefaratti. I'm the North America Field Service Lead here at Avanade. I have been in the Microsoft world for over 20 years. I've seen Dynamics CRM born. I tested it and tried it, in rooms, even trying to get the Outlook thing working. But that's also where I got heavily involved in field service. And with as many of you know, David Humphreys, he's forgotten more about field service than most of us know, but got started with him a long time ago. And hey, here I am, and so excited to be on this podcast.
One of the things that I saw, which I thought was really, really cool, was you you were also at ServiceMax. Were you at ServiceMax?
I was, yeah. I was there for a good almost 3 years.
Wow.
So it was exciting. I actually left, believe it or not, in my time apart from the Microsoft world. I enjoyed NetSuite.
Yeah.
They've got something good going there, but not as good as we do, of course.
Yeah.
But I left there to go to ServiceMax to completely focus 100% on field service, which was great. And it's when you've got Salesforce who's trying to build a competing product that was vastly inferior to ServiceMax, and then at that time, that's when y'all became part of Microsoft, the whole Field One acquisition. And I said, I'm going back to, I believe Microsoft Blue. I'm going back to where it all started. And that's where I went back into the partner world and finally having field service as part of CRM, which is fantastic.
Nice. And I'm implying, just also looking at your LinkedIn profile, that you've been involved in Dynamics, basically CRM, since day one.
That's what I said. So it was when it was born. We were doing we were alpha, beta testers. So we've seen the good, the bad, and the beautiful.
And the beautiful, right? Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like that too. I got involved with the Dynamics platform when it wasn't called Dynamics. It was just called Microsoft CRM, at the beginning. And customer service, interestingly enough, was part of the version 1. It was in many ways similar to what we even have today. You had knowledge base, you had cases, there was some level of SLA, if I remember SLA, was that in?
Something you probably don't know, but they copied that whole contract management piece. Remember the old contracts?
Yeah.
That was copied from Great Plains contracts.
Yes. Yeah.
It was the plan, you being the ex-Winsoft fella. There were plans to kind of build around that. But I love it how, how we used to call it XRM.
Yes.
Which is now Power Apps, but
yes,
they struggle trying to link. Well, wait, this is Power Apps. I'm like, no, you don't understand. This is CRM. This is where it all started.
Yes, this is where it all started.
A nice, pretty place on top of it with Power Apps. So.
That's true. A lot of the initial schema and the data model, what we don't call it schema anymore. The common data model for Microsoft CRM and Dynamics initially was from Great Plains. A lot of the way that the products, price list, a lot of the back end components that you would integrate, because my first projects were all integrated with ERP systems. So I did a lot of that integration, and it didn't take me very long to figure out, GP, that's where you want to go. But at the time we weren't on finance and operations, or AX wasn't even part of the product yet. Microsoft, it was a different product at the time. It was a different company altogether. It wasn't even in the scope yet. And so it's very interesting. Hey,
remember Project Green?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I was in that meeting. I was in the meeting, but it's really amazing. Here we are, almost 20 years later, almost 20 years to we're really close to 20-year anniversary with Dynamics. It was 2002, and when it kind of was released, I think in December of 2002. So I think we're coming up on the 20-year anniversary, or pretty darn close. That's when I remember getting in on the action. So fun stuff. All right, well, we have another guest on our podcast here today, on our live stream, and it's Trisha Sinclair. There she is, the legend, the legend. Let's just call her the legend already. So So Trish, why don't you give us a little bit of intro?
Hi, everyone. So I'm Trisha Sinclair, and I'm the European lead for D365 customer service at Avanade. I work very closely with Dan to kind of put things together in terms of a full service solution. And yeah, I also work with or founded what's known as the Power Platform School, which is a side note, and that basically aims to bring more Black people, more BAME people as well into technology. I have like several years of experience in dynamics. I didn't start off as young as as ages ago as Pierre and Dan, but I started in CRM4. And through that, I've always implemented customer service projects. So it's kind of led me to where I am now. So that's me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's so, yeah. I mean, you get on somewhere, right? You get on, they say, where do you get on the merry-go-round? Well, just you get on. There's no, you just get on. You just get on. You find a spot and you just get on. So we love your perspective. And, that's where I met Trish a couple years ago doing the Black Minds Matter. Is that project that you were involved in?
Yeah, so it was Black Mind. It was basically a charity quiz that we were creating called Black Minds Matter, and then we had a hackathon. And Pierre, it was so cool because you actually jumped into the hackathon team and you were hacking away with the students, and they loved you. So it was like really appreciated. It was fun.
I love it. It's, if you can't tell, one of I come from that blue collar background. And so, I don't have my college degree. So I don't have a college degree. This is all learn as you go along. And so that's the hack. The hack is just, work your butt off and figure the stuff out and learn by doing. And so I have a deep appreciation for folks that you had that passion for in schools and helping address that big digital divide where people don't have access to the college or to all the resources that it takes to be successful, and just kind of helping accelerate that in any way. And so it's awesome. It's awesome stuff. So
when I started, just to put it, when I started, a lot of what I use now is what I kind of did in my job, my university job, to get spare money because I was a contact center agent, and that's actually what I draw from on a basis, which is quite fun. But a lot of the students that we have in the Power Platform School, that's what I explain to them, that draw from your experience and you'll go a longer way.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So the reason I thought it would be helpful for us to have a conversation today is really about what I call the $1 million button. The $1 million button, which is this little button that exists inside of Dynamics customer service. And that button allows you to convert a case to a work order. And when that occurs inside of the system, that whole common data model and the power of the platform all shines. And one of the things that it just really keeps getting, every time I get involved in an opportunity, it's just surprising how many companies have a separate customer service strategy and then their field service strategy. The field service people and the service operations people often are a different group than the call center or the customer service. And companies look at this often as two different things. And so they say, oh, we need to have a brand new field service application. And so they go out and they read the Gartner report and they get the people on the list and they send out an RFP, or they say, hey, we need to do asset servicing because we manage customers' assets, and so we need an asset management application. They don't think about it often as customer service, and the service operations as customer service. And at Microsoft, we always envisioned it this way from the really very beginning, that this platform really of sales and marketing and customer service is just the same part as field service. It's just a service continuum and managing that customer experience all the way across. And so companies end up really building their own like islands of data in two totally different systems, and then calling what I used to do the integration specialist, and we need to integrate those two applications together. So let's get, can you integrate them? Oh, sure we can. Here's a $50,000 integration application and a bunch of consulting work to do it. And so I think this is one of these areas that I don't think our people understand very well. And definitely in the customer side, they're kind of missing it often, that this is this is a big deal. This is a big deal. This is one of the things that Microsoft does really, really good at, unifying these two experiences. So that's why I thought, hey, let's get the call center customer service expert and the field service experts together and just talk about maybe some customer experiences you guys have seen where they are unifying those things, where they are looking at it as like a handoff from one department to another, one team to another, or pulling service people into the customer service, technical, let's say, people into the service experience for case management. Can we talk about that a little bit? Dan, what do you think? I know you're you're involved in a lot of these types of accounts here in North America, some pretty giant customers where this is a big part of what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, the view that we have, fields, that divide that you mentioned is does exist out there. But the biggest thing in the philosophy that we take is your field team is just an extension of customer service. I mean, they are the technicians out there. They're your service ambassadors. There's opportunities to upsell, cross-sell. And then at the same time, how do you reduce the multiple times that those technicians need to call back in because they may not have enough information? And so that's where capturing all that key critical data, and as it moves from a case to a work order, but also more importantly, what are some ways that you can save that truck roll? What are some things that are happening in the call center, providing the call center agents the same tools and knowledge capabilities that the techs in the field could have? And how do you prevent that truck roll? Because that could be expensive, particularly in PM type calls. And so it's that triage part and bringing everybody together. And then also, when you start to think about Microsoft and the stack, that's leveraging the new Teams integration capabilities, remote assist, being able to help technicians on site. That's where all this comes together. And then if you think about, from a customer service standpoint, if you've got connected assets, managing warranties, all of that right in the call center, then you could give that technician out in the field the additional information that they have, so that the ultimate goal is customer satisfaction and first time fix rates for the customers.
That's fantastic. So thinking about it from the technician being able to come into that service experience and that bridge and bridging the gap, if you will, is that the way that you're thinking?
Yeah, I mean, truly it is, because the more information that's at the tech's fingertips and also in the call center, it's how to, because in today's world, it's, folks are demanding if you don't have a resolution quickly. And I'll even extend that to the customer. Oftentimes customers want to do some of their own research, so by providing that knowledge base, giving them that information to help, provide them to quickly get an issue resolved is ultimately what's key here.
Yeah. So Trish, how do you see it from the customer service perspective when we think of CE and the customer service application of team and swarming. Have you done projects that are leveraging that kind of concept of pulling in technical people that are in the field into the case management experience?
Not officially. I mean, like when I did implement before, when I've been involved in implementations, it's been with more remote assist. Swarming is still relatively new, so I'm not really familiar with any project that we or any other partner have actually implemented swarming. But the thing is, swarming is not a new concept. It's
Right.
actually been a concept that's been in customer service for a long while. From I was an agent, we actually used to swarm, and this is now years ago. So the fact that we've actually automated that is actually a good thing, even though it's not been implemented as yet. So looking forward to the first implementation.
Yeah. So a lot of folks aren't aware maybe of this. This is a new feature that just got added, or is it on the roadmap? I don't recall.
It has been added.
Okay. So maybe why don't you, instead of me, the Microsoft guy, explain, why don't you explain, if you're comfortable with it, talking a little bit about the concept of this feature we've added called swarming.
Cool. The name is interesting. Swarming. What is to swarm? To swarm is to basically surround, right? To swarm around, an object. So effectively what we have is, think of an agent, think of someone having an issue with resolving a case. You might need one or more experts. You might actually not know who the best expert is to resolve your issue. You might actually need multiple, people to come and support you with the triaging of the issue, whilst the customer is actually waiting for you to resolve this issue. Instead of pinging separately several people who you're hoping may be able to help you, what swarming does is it takes the details of the case, identifies the experts that are needed based on other similar cases, and brings them into a Teams chat call, and that's effectively your swarm. So now you're able to work together to resolve a case instead of individually going step by step and everybody passing, the buck to the next person. Everyone's working together to resolve the case, and this reduces the time that the customer is waiting for the issue to be solved and increasing customer satisfaction at the same time. So that's pretty much what swarming is. You got a video?
You add a feature because people are asking for it, right? It's not just that Microsoft came up with this really cool idea, but this idea that within the application, we're able to effectively kind of have a case agent or somebody create a Teams meeting on the fly, just basically push the magic button and be able to see like, hey, let's go set up a swarm, and you kind of put a request in the system. Of course, all of this can be automated. You kind of, and it builds a team and goes out and finds, the people that are experts in that issue, whether that's billing or service. And so it bridges this gap between I have to be in case management to be part of solving a problem. You don't, if I understand this correctly, I don't have to be in case management. I have to be part of the customer service application. I can just be a team member that is listed as an expert in the system, and that could be internal or even guests in my system resources. So I just love this concept.
Exactly. So it doesn't actually create a team meeting. What it does is it creates a team chat. And you're right. What it has is it allows you to interact with third parties. So think in the case of a manufacturer or any third party suppliers that are pivotal to resolving or identifying the root cause of an issue. They can also be invited to the swarm to discuss the issue as well, which of course in a field service context will also reduce the potential need for a call out. Because if you can resolve the issue yourself, then why would you need to go?
Right. Why would you need to go? And so this right here, I'm going to pause on this one spot right here in the thing, because I think this is just awesome that the system went and finds, and I'm going to add Dan to this. How is this doing this, Dan? How is this going out and finding all of the resources and their capabilities inside of the system? Have you thought about this? Are you familiar with this? I'm putting Dan on the spot here. He's probably never even worked on this function because it's brand spanking new. But have you?
Well, I had to focus in from my distance to the computer here to
Dan
my
doesn't have his glasses on.
He doesn't have his glasses on.
my aging eyes. Yeah, you know what? It's actually leveraging the resources, the skill sets that you have out there. So it's really bringing all of that together. And one thing that I was at a manufacturing company yesterday, and last week, and think about when you swarm, you could also bring your product group in, right?
Oh yeah.
So the folks who have come up with the design of the product. It's like, oh, hey, you know what? That's a defect. Now maybe we need to go back and take a look at how we manufacture or engineer this particular device.
Nice. Yeah. So inside of the Dynamics Field Service application, which is called, there's a core component we call it generally Universal Resource Scheduling. And that is a core part of the engine now. And it's part of the schema, it's part of the application. Anybody that uses the service part of the application, especially if you go back to version 1, that old service scheduling engine has been replaced. And we deprecated that, I think, a year or two ago with this Universal Resource Scheduling. And this Universal Resource Engine has every resource that the organization has, whether that's a contractor, whether that is a person, whether that's a piece of equipment, it could be a crew. And each one of those resources has a set of characteristics that are their skill set. It is where they are physically located, what business unit they're in. And those people don't always have to be users of the system. They could be contractors. They could be just a piece of equipment. They could be lots of different things, and they could have their own schedule. And so this customer service engine is leveraging that resource characteristics. It's going out and looking here and saying, hey, these are the skills that are required. Coffee machine hardware, I need somebody that's experts in the service software that does the warranty and the diagnostic of this piece of equipment. And then it goes and finds who those people are based on those characteristics and invites them, as you're saying, Trisha, into that team experience. So those resources don't need to be a field service user. They could just be a resource that we can ping in Teams, basically. They just need to be they need to have an email address, if you will, somewhere inside of the system. And then they get encouraged to come and participate in the resolution. And to your point, it is all about that first time fix rate, right? That's like the number one. If we were to, in my world, when I do a lot of education, I'm like, if you could remember one thing that this system is going to do, what the number one kind of KPI of this system is always to look at how quickly can we repair something. And in call center, that's a common metric. First time call resolution is the term over there that we use. And in field service, we call it first time fix rate. Same kind of idea that we can we just get this thing fixed right now and get the customer on their merry way.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, and it all rolls up to CSAT. Net promoter score, all those things are key when it comes to customer retention. We all know how hard it is to bring on a customer, but retaining that customer is an even bigger task.
Yeah,
particularly with the competition that's out there.
That's so true, right there. That is the isn't that the deal? The retention too of customers and their experience is so important here to this.
the things like I wanted to call out though, because at the start of the call, you guys mentioned how like Salesforce was kind of coming in, and that's why Dan came back to Microsoft, etc. But swarming is actually something that is actually not only new to Microsoft, but it's actually new to contact center systems as a whole. I've not seen it in any other system, and it actually is therefore a true differentiator of where Microsoft can definitely add value versus other CCaaS solutions. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, no, you're spot on. Thank you. Hey. Yeah, this is one thing that is really interesting about our journey is that, we're not always like let's just go buy, all these companies to do all of this stuff and then figure out how to make it work on the back end. That business strategy, we built it. And so, you have that common data model, the entities work across these platforms. And so I love this view here because I always think of I'm always thinking of that technician out there in the field, on their mobile device, and they're the expert on the, Brewmaster 8000, and they're out there on their mobile, and I might have a product manager, or to your point, Dan, somebody maybe an engineer that's part of not the support organization, but the engineering. So, they don't have the CRM system, and they're not in case management. They're never in case management. They're, building this stuff. And they're in teams. And then you have the customer agent that isn't an expert in these things per se, but, has got the customer on the phone trying to take care of it. So you have these three different personas, three different user interfaces, and everybody's able to communicate real seamlessly across this to get that resolved. And that to me it's like customer service nirvana. Like that is the ideal state. Like I don't think you can it's hard to imagine getting better than that. Interesting. So one of the other ones where I think of collaboration like this is the remote assist, and bringing remote assist from a customer service standpoint too, this kind of one-time call. Have you guys done those types of projects too, where you're getting like inbound or hooking a tech remote assist up with a customer? Can you talk a little bit about that in reality, the reality of that?
From my end, it's been coming up, quite often. We've talked about this before. I actually don't like the term one-time call, because it feels like you get one, you get your one chip to burn, and that's kind of it, which is obviously isn't the case. So, but it has been coming up more and more. We've got a customer that we're talking to right now. The manufacturer was that last week, and that was a big thing to them. Just because ultimately, particularly, we're seeing this come up in many home type situations, or when you go through something where it is you're installing a modem, from a cable standpoint, how you can walk somebody through an issue while they're, so you don't have to send a technician out there. And so a lot of the, self-install type things are starting to become more important out there, because, well, let's go back to where we always get to is, I don't have enough people. So now we got to get more creative, enough people meaning enough technicians to provide the work. So now we get a little more creative in leveraging our customer to, and they're also in many cases willing to take on some of these smaller tasks on themselves.
That's true. I mean, like we were talking before, Dan, because I know we were involved in one of the same conversations with the confusion of remote assist and what that is and what the meaning of it was, the meaning behind it was. For us, a lot of people get confused between being able to see and assist someone remotely on the screen and what true remote assist is. So I do spend a lot of my time explaining the difference between co-browsing and remote assist, because they are actually both possible in customer service. And it's important to understand what the difference is, so we can then, make sure that you get the right product product at the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, you're still remotely assisting somebody. Are we, am I having an issue installing Office, or is it because my printer's down, right?
With a coffee cup. Yeah. So you had to basically go in explaining, okay, do you want to assist them making tea? Or do you want to assist them, installing something? And that actually is the true difference. The thing with remote assist is like the one-time call. Like with field service, it's not a one-time call thing. It's literally being able to see and trigger off a request for support from the agent. Whereas with customer service, you're basically asking the customer, not a field service engineer, but the customer themselves, to download a small app that will allow them to still have a kind of mini cut down version of the field service application to help them resolve the issue. They'll get access to the same mixed reality functionality that's within standard remote assist, but they're not going to get the documentation aspect in terms of being able to share documents, etc. But you will be able to walk them through, see what they're seeing, show them using the mixed reality annotations. And this also is going to reduce, callbacks, because they should have resolved the issue. It's easier to resolve the issue if you can see what they're seeing. Increase, again, CSAT.
Yeah, I love this. One of the customers I was just showing the video, I was thinking of this of Mercedes-Benz. They have obviously super complicated cars. Right? The car is really complex, and you could be a certified technician and still not be able to get your issue figured out. Like, why is this behaving this way? And so they have, a commitment to their customer at a dealership like this here to take care of that car, and then somebody's sitting in the waiting room, or, hey, we'll have your car done tomorrow, and now I'm stuck trying to get this thing. I cannot solve the problem. And so for them, it's, hey, that's a call to a regional support center or back to the factory, depending on the level of complexity. The turbo diesel engine in a truck is not an easy thing to fix. Literally, you can get a college degree in this, so it's not. And so thinking that this is, this kind of scenario where you've got customers waiting, and we need to help our technicians be as efficient as possible. To me, this is such a great example of that kind of calling, being able to remotely support somebody from a call center out here. So here's the tech. He's going to get his little HoloLens on.
Can I tell you a story?
Sure. Absolutely.
It happened to me at 3:00 today. Like, I'm in the UK, so it's now 5:45. I have not had hot water in my flat since Monday. Right. I called the plumbing company that I use, and they sent someone out today. So it's 5 days where I've literally just had to shower with like lukewarm water. Luckily, it's so hot that it doesn't matter. When the plumber came and he looked at the little button, and he was like, who turned this off? Because someone turned off the heater. And I didn't know. Can you imagine if they actually had remote assist and they were like, okay, show me? That would have saved me 150 call outs.
There you go. Perfect.
I mean, like, yay, happy. Yeah. So that's the beauty about it.
Nice. Well, yeah, this is a great conversation. I love this conversation. Anytime we're helping, the customers is good stuff. So yeah, you could get your heat back on over there.
Yeah.
So Pierre, one of the other things that's, and I'm gonna, I know this is kind of real exciting for Trisha, but nuance, bringing that into customer service and the whole introduction of that. So it's part of that entire customer service family, right? I know
Yes.
You're super excited what's coming.
Nuance is such an exciting, like it's a really exciting world that we have where you ask people like, have you heard of Nuance? And they're like, yeah, and you're like, oh my god, it's amazing, isn't it? So for those who don't know, Nuance is a now part of Microsoft, but what they do, it's a company that's been acquired by Microsoft. And what they do is they do extremely advanced AI for contact center solutions, including IVR, including fraud, including voice biometrics. So think of now reducing the amounts of agents that you might need, because now you have truly intelligent bots who are able to really resolve issues. Now, if we flip it and think about what this can do for field service engineers also need support. Now, they might, right now, what we tend to do is we kind of create bots to kind of support them and give them some additional information. But those bots take ages to build. It takes ages to maintain, and also it's not really a truly interactive experience, which basically means that it's a learning curve. With Nuance, we're reducing that learning curve because it's truly kind of operating as a human to human interaction, even though it's a human to bot. And also, we're basically making it easier to implement and create these bots based on other intents that we already are aware of. So that's where the beauty of Nuance is coming in, and the integration with we call it the digital contact center platform. But the beauty of integrating Nuance into the whole omni-channel stack to create the digital center platform is only going to make service as a whole a lot more advanced and a lot better across all the different industries.
Yeah, that's exciting, and I know there's a lot of buzz here at Avanade around that as we're starting to jump in with both feet, right?
I know, I can't wait for us to actually do our first joint project with Nuance. I know Avanade have done several Nuance projects, which is why we're the go-to-market partner with Microsoft. I just had to put that in.
Yeah, there you go.
Just had to put that in.
Had to put that in there.
Partner with Microsoft.
Nice.
But like to actually even include Nuance into field service, I think it's going to be like such a great thing to do and such a good use case. So I'm really excited over that possibility as well.
Yeah, so a lot of folks on the field service maybe not have seen this, but Microsoft about a year ago got the checkbook out and bought a company, this little $16 billion company. So it's not like this is a small deal. This is a giant thing. And Nuance is experts in a couple different areas. So why don't we talk maybe about a couple of the feature things and how that software, what does it do? So I'm familiar with it from a couple of things. I had Dragon software back in the day, like, because I'm just a gadget freak, and so you have to buy stuff. And so, yeah, I had Dragon software and always tried to, and I'm going to, dictate my emails and all that stuff. It's going to be a super high productivity. So I know that they own the voice recognition IP is a big part of what they do. But how does that land in features? What does that mean from a business productivity standpoint?
So from a business productivity standpoint with Nuance, frog my throat. So from a business productivity standpoint with Nuance, think of it in terms of a lot of companies want voice biometrics because now we're running away from passwords. We're running away from even OTP passwords. We want to make it a more passwordless society. So voice as your password is becoming more and more popular across not only the banking industry, but across all other industries as well. And that's something that Nuance has down on lock. As you mentioned, like they've actually been doing AI for a long time, and they actually have their own contact center AI functionality, speech to text being one of them, with extended languages that are not available by default within, I hate to say it, but within Azure bot framework.
Sure.
So being able to expand your language capabilities for bot whilst also enhancing your speech to text capability, it's going to make creating bots and creating IVR solutions a lot better.
So inbound calls. So the world that I've seen demos of, and where I've seen like is super impressive, is a customer calling in, and I have a problem. And so and it might be something simple like I have a billing question, or I want the status of my order, which is effectively just looking stuff up. Like somebody's typing and it's like, okay, what's your customer number? Psh, let me type that in. And then, what was your order number? Let me go find that. And so this system seems to be like, I can effectively give a customer a call, or the customer can call in. It recognizes their phone number and their voice, so they don't have to give I don't know what my account number is, and it because it's connected now I can have natural interaction with this, and it's at a degree that is very high. Like the accuracy of that speech to text technology at this point it's faster than a person. It's faster than a person can be.
It's more advanced than what we currently have within the current PVA solution and also the current Azure Bot Framework solution. So I can see Microsoft integrating that functionality into PVA and Azure Bot Framework to just take it to the next level. I mean, you mentioned like voice is your password. Like there are two different ways of doing it, of course. Like you can actually say a sentence, but even those two different ways, it's still confirming that you are the right person without having to take your phone out in a dangerous situation to put anything in, or give a password that somebody else might have intercepted. So It's just a lot more secure. So speech to text is a lot better.
I had seen their software operating in medical settings too. This is a area where they have done some amazing work, and this had nothing to do with customer service. It had more to do with dictation accuracy of a doctor, basically being able to transcribe their voice as they do notes inside of customer patient record systems, which, I got to tell you a story about my doc, my old doc, Dr. Holden, who was my doctor when I was a child. He smoked a pipe and he had a real gravelly voice, and ironically passed away from a heart attack at a doctor's convention. So he was not let's say a paragon of fitness. He was less than that. But anyways, so when he passed away, his handwriting was so atrocious that they had to pull in his former secretary, his former nurse, to transcribe all of his notes, because she had retired, and his writing was so bad nobody could decipher it. That's how bad it was. So doctors have this notorious, reputation for having horrible handwriting. I don't know, because they're writing so fast or whatever. But this thing where I've seen it in action, my doctor had used this where there's an ambient mic, and it's like voice commands, and he's like dictating the notes into the medical records as he's doing the medical examination. And so there's nobody needs to, he doesn't need to write anything down. He's just typing, or it's just filling it in automatic. It's pretty amazing, really, really amazing. And it was like an ambient system, so it's like there was a mic in the room, and it knew it was him, not me. So it's pretty wild. So
this is coming.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Yeah. It's super exciting. I think, some of the things that we're doing also with here in the U.S., we're starting to see first-party voice. I can really see us, because we're building this ecosystem now for customer service that, I think of technicians too, like of folks out in the field, this one-time call type of thing where I'm going to do a delivery and I want to know like the where's my pizza, where's my technician, that interaction that somebody receiving a service has to the tech. So I can give that tech a number, or contractor a number, basically get that call to them on their mobile without having to give them a unique mobile number on the way. You know what I mean? So a customer can get their phone number from Microsoft. You can get dial tone from Microsoft now in this first party voice world. So that just opens up an incredible amount of opportunities for kind of the gig economy and a bunch of stuff to do this dynamically and on the fly without having to, and from a security standpoint, without having to expose a technician's phone number, personal phone number, or somebody doing delivery services, personal phone number, I'm excited to see some of those types of capabilities too come along the way.
Definitely. Oh, it's so exciting.
Isn't it cool? It's a cool time to be alive. It's a cool time to be alive in this business.
I think Dan said it because I love talking to people about bots, about nuance, about self-service automation. And anytime Dan wants to make me happy, he just says like nuance or people.
I see. That's the way to make Tish happy. So speaking of bots, and we have to end. We're coming to the close here, but I'm going to sprinkle some magic fairy dust over this conversation and switch away from. Anyways, switch away from the dynamics conversation into Trish and her bot framework application that's unique to being a single woman in London. And a lot of people do not know this, and I'm not busting on her because she's talked about this quite a bit, is that Trish wrote an application in Dynamics to help her dating life. And I don't know if this is on GitHub, or can you talk a little more about what the heck did you do? What have you done? What have you built?
One of the things I tell everybody, if you want to truly learn something, you've got to build something that you're passionate about. Well, I'm single, so I was like, okay, how can I find, the best person for me, and how can I automate? Because I hate swiping, and every single dating app now, you need to swipe left or swipe right, and it's really annoying. So what I did was I went and I researched some of the dating apps, and I tried to find a dating app I could get an API for. There weren't really any, but what I realized is Tinder is not that secure. So I reverse engineered Tinder, got the API, and created a custom connector using Power Automate that would allow me to pull all the potential matches into a Power app that I could bulk swipe yes or no to. And what it would do is it would automatically add red flags based on settings that I'd added in a model-driven app. And so if it was a red flag, that's automatically a no. So it saved me swiping. And it would also look for facial characteristics using the Face API. And it would basically put all this information into a database minus their name because GDPR. So it just basically had who had swiped yes on and no on, like their facial characteristics and keywords that were included. So then it could utilize machine learning, AI builder to understand who I was swiping yes and no on. So then it could automate the swiping for me. Then I created a PVA bot to initiate the first message going out. But where I got stuck was the PVA bot couldn't actually listen for the response.
There you
so
go.
This is where we'd have to then add the bot composer framework to go in and listen to that response to then start interacting with them, and that's where we are.
There you go. Well, there you go. This is
meet someone, and we are actually still really good friends. In fact, he's actually coming to an event that I'm throwing in September because
There you go. There you go. Well, that's how you solve modern problems. That's how you solve modern problems, and it's just a spin. That's right. It's a spin on Bridget Jones' Diary. It's you. I hope you've because I can just totally see the movie for this. Honestly, I can see the movie. I'm already. This is a TED Talk, is what this is. A whole this is going to take you places. This story will take you places.
I did do this in a session where I showed people how I created all of this, and it's on YouTube. And it's called A Power Platform Love Story, my love story to the Power Platform and all the different components of it. And yeah, I even showed the flowers that my dear friends that I met sent me. So yeah.
Well, we'll look that up. I'll share that with the people. There you go. Here it is. There you go. I see it. There it is. It is. Yeah. Let me find the link here. So yes, Power Platform Love Story. There it is. Yes, there you go. There it is. There we go. There we go. There's the power platform.
Meeting, Trisha.
Sorry.
This will be fun for our next team meeting. I didn't realize this is.
Yes, this is. So I'm not busting on her. I think this is awesome. I love, she solved this problem. This is it right here. There she is. There she is. And you are flawless, Trish. There you go. I love it. So yeah, so I'll put the link in the URL so everybody can go, and there you go. This is that Downton Abbey, Bridgerton. What is this one?
No, it's Bridgerton. I love Bridgerton.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of an Anglophile. I drive a Mini Cooper. I have a Corgi. So we love England. My son lives in London right now, and so we love England. We love England. So, that's exciting. That's cool. There you go. There you go. This is power to the people. I love it. I love it.
The whole point of the Power Platform is to automate things that you find tedious, and I just didn't find any reason not to automate my personal life.
There you go. That's it. So I've said our job is to automate the mundane. Automate the mundane, and that is There was a whole, and actually this is a little bit of like advice and wisdom here from the old guy. So there's stuff that nobody wants to do in life, like when you talk about, like, in our world, Dan, in my world, in the field service business, that is all about like maintenance. Like, that's about as boring as you can get. It's not cool. It's greasy work. You get underneath the machine. Your hands are all, it's, maintenance is not fun. But if you can automate the mundane, that's where an opportunity, there's lots of opportunity in that space, because that's why there's nobody wants to do that work. It's hard to recruit people into that business. People want to write code and be Elon Musk. They don't want to, kids coming out of school, they don't want to, become grease monkeys and work underneath the vehicles. I'll have to share my pictures. Recently, I was at a tractor pull this week, and so that was engines and lots of diesel smoke. It was really exciting, and yeah, there's this whole group of people, like, they love that stuff. They love the maintaining and building. So this is just a different way to build, I guess, your power platform stuff. Very cool. It is. Yeah. And it's COVID time. You did this during COVID?
I did, yeah.
So,
it was weird because, like, I broke up with my now ex. We're good friends, don't worry. And it was my first Christmas, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna be swiping, and I found myself really annoyed and bored at home, and I just decided to build that. But I learned a lot doing it, and yeah, I'll do it again.
So here's a question: how did you license that app? How is that licensed? Is it per swipe or per match?
Well, it was just one user, but then I did hand it to a couple of friends. So to be honest, at the end of it, five of us were using it, which made it a lot more complex to do the design, because now you have to basically, it made it a bit more complicated. I probably would redo it, and it would be licensed per user.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, there you go. License per user. I think you could monetize this. You should look at monetizing this. I think, Dan, you guys need to look at Avanade maybe buying this up, this tech.
Yeah, this is interesting. Well, I mean, we could go on for all the applications for this. Think about picking your tech. Swipe right.
Well, there you go.
So.
I also had a report, because of course Power BI. So I had a report that detected like who I was actually, I didn't know who I actually like. I didn't know who my type was. It's been ages since I've been in
this is so good.
I know who my type is based on this. So now this is who I will target. That's fine.
There you go. Yes.
I like people who are bald, and I like people with black hair, and their titles are engineer, software, director, IT. Yeah, those are my likes.
There you go. I love in this video how you're you're just so you're so, I don't want to say it, you are so in the tech here. You are, this is not a woman in love. This is a woman talking about her project, right? And so the abstraction is hilarious. It's so funny. You've really compartmentalized this, and it's really great. I love it. You are, this is just fantastic. Oh,
I've got to jump. I'm late.
All right, folks. Well, that is the end. We're right at the end. So thanks everybody. We appreciate your time, energy, and effort. You two are awesome. Love the partnership and love working with both of you. My name again is Pierre Hulsebus. This is the Field Service live stream and podcast, or whatever you want to call it. Me come up with a funny name for it or something. I don't know. But I appreciate you taking the time, energy, and effort to be part of our tribe, our team, our group. Thank you for the participation and comments. And we're going to continue. We get a couple weeks. We're going to meet up with some other folks. We've got some really cool stuff coming down the road with Dynamics and Field Service and some really exciting stuff coming. So we'll see you guys soon, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you, everybody. Adios.